Jesus says, "Oh now, oh Father, glorify me together with myself, with the glory which I had before the world ever was." John 17:5. In Micah chapter 5, verse 2, the Bible says, "O Bethlehem, though you are little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of you shall come forth to me
here's
the light
Johnny.
to be ruler in Israel, whose
Thank
going
you.
forth
Well, hello there, social media family. Being of any person among yourselves, being of whom are, like say, from my followers, as in AK subscribers, to visitors even so who are affiliated, associated with, and are representing my own particular personal YouTube social media channel, and likewise chat room comment section. How are you all doing? And for that matter, how are any of your loved ones, being a person among themselves otherwise, and like say, being of whom are from your relatives, as in family members, to friends likewise who are affiliated, associated with, and are representing your many different immediate personal households. Hopefully all is well that ends well with you and yours, and likewise, hopefully it can be said and stated for the record in that same or similar line of thought, sense of word when it comes to matters of personal survival for me and mine, or for believers and or the unsaved, unbelievers even so. Then if you have not accepted Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, then do it now, for tomorrow's not promised to anybody. And moving right on. And whereas the present social media broadcast, being as it is of some such video content material, is supposed to be about, or as it is, dealing with, involving, concerning, regarding, or making some sort of reference to that being the rodent problem. And that is what has been placed upon my heart, mind, soul, and spirit to discuss as of this present given moment in time. And as anybody knows, any individual person who still possess half one's marbles, or should know that if you don't properly dispose of your item product refuse of industrial waste, being which would be considered as garbage or trash properly, then it only serves as an incubator for the rodent population to fester as it increase. And then of which just brings us to the question of what are the employees or workers of the sanitation department literally actually doing. Then because as I'm hearing it, and in accordance to complementing a news source or resource of this one and that one, whereas this city and suburban sanitation department employees or workers are relying mainly or mostly upon rodent repellents compared to how they should rely upon equally as well the proper way to dispose of the same or the same question aforementioned, if not more so, so far as that being industrial waste item products, then which would be considered as garbage or trash by means of employing the uses thereof or using other methods or techniques to decrease the rodent population, than to just rely mainly or mostly upon rodent repellent. I mean, whereas, you could use all the rodent repellents all you want until the cows come home, but that would not be as effective as, employing the uses thereof or using any alternative options or methods or techniques to decrease and or destroy the rodent population just as much, and like say to properly get rid of this particular problem. And like say, for example, by chemically treating any industrial waste item products, refuse bin, which would be considered as garbage or trash, and then grinding it into much smaller particles before going about the necessary business at hand to use it as landfills, or just get to much more properly burning any garbage or trash, and with that being the much more safer environmental precautions to make that or uses of for that particular method or technique to dispose of industrial waste item products of garbage or trash. Because you can put so much rodent repellent down all you want, but if you're not going about equal as well, to make uses of the other methods or techniques to dispose of garbage or trash to decrease and destroy the rodent population, then what good use is the rodent repellent then, But then in addition, if better mouse traps could be manufactured, that could also put a big dent in a rodent population.
Hey, thank you again so much for listening. Yeah. And if you'd like to hear or see
because it would not make any sense to just rely heavily upon mainly or mostly rodent repellents, Okay? If garbage or trash is that much more overflowing the garbage dumpsters, if the city and suburban sanitation department employees could possibly be shirking their duties in accordance to their own particular profession or vocation at some such given moment in time, especially if they themselves are up under the influences of a drink as an intoxicating alcoholic beverage or an illegal drug substance, being of which just gets me to reflect upon that being or so. Disastrous cases, situations of unprofessional conduct or behavior being exhibited by construction workers who go about that manufacturing these skyscrapers of high rises, whereas, as I'm hearing it, more than quite a few of them are either drunk or high on the job. But then, getting back to the original subject matter, a topic of discussion to be debated, of giving an argument with many different views and opinions to be affiliated, associated with, and representing some such thereof. Not that I was wagging the dog as in changing the subject. And as I think of it, when my attention to backtrack here, with reason purpose being, and also I can go on following to continue for when my person had last left off. And then there's the question of how, certain fast food places of business, just more than other ones, continue to fail city inspections at some such given moment in time. And that is including, some of such mobile vendors who be selling that food item products in their trucks, for Meals on Wheels. But then some of the worstest, not just worst, but worstest places of businesses so far as fast food joints is concerned that any customer could possibly eat at is like, for example, Taco Bell, Chipotle, just to name a couple of few, been which has failed several numbers of city inspections. So those are two places you should beware of, possibly romancing the thought of contemplating eating at. Yes, Taco Bell and Chipotle. Then there's Burger King and McDonald's. Other than that, I just thought to share this with you all at some such given moment in time, being of this particular broadcast of social media video content material. And in closing, I say, if you have not gotten Christ as your own personal Lord and Savior, I hope that you would think to do so now while the blood is still running warm in your veins, by recognizing or realizing what he himself had done upon the cross of Calvary, and he the glory of God who had come in the flesh of a male to restore the breach between himself and mankind, or humankind made in his image, by permitting himself to be crucified at the hands of Roman soldiers who were up under orders of their superiors, being mostly religious Pharisees and Sadducees. Whereas he permitted himself to be crucified to fulfill biblical prophecies, so that anybody, regardless of race, walk of life, gender, age, etc., who could possibly profess faith in him, would not have to worry about ending up in the lake of fire down hell, because you would have acquired the only fire insurance against it after professing faith in him, and then be considered as a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And hopefully share the gospel message of salvation with any others of the unsaved. You all take care and be safe. Be blessed, not stress even when you can, and could possibly become members of the House of Faith Family God. And I'll talk to you later. And on last note, Angel, out. Peace.